Skechers, those comfy, slightly chunky, always dependable shoes that make you feel like you're walking on clouds, or at least on a very soft trampoline, right? But have you ever wondered how these marvels of foot-friendly engineering are made? How does Skechers manage to be so lightweight, yet durable? Are they stealing Under Armour's technology? Well, one thing is for sure though, it's not magic. It's something much cooler and more affordable compared to the, other mainstream brands in the market today. It's science, sweat, and some seriously impressive machines. Today, we're taking you inside the factory where Skechers are born. Get ready for a tour filled with foam, fabric, rubber, and enough sarcasm to fill a warehouse. All right, let's uncover the secret. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe for more factory tours where we unravel the mysteries of your favorite products. Because curiosity never goes out of style, just like, Skechers. Step 1, designing the shoe, aka the thinking caps go on. Before Skechers hit the factory floor, they start as a bright idea in someone's head. That someone is probably, a shoe designer, a person who spends their day sketching shoes and wondering why socks get all the attention. Here's the thing, designers start with a sketch. Yeah, Skechers are literally sketched first. They use fancy software that looks like Photoshop on steroids to create 3D models of the shoe. This software lets them tweak every detail from the curve of the sole to the height of the cushioning down to the shade of neon green that screams, "I'm here to make a statement." Oh, and don't forget the cool names they brainstorm. Delights, Archfit, Max Cushioning. Each name has to sound like it belongs in a fitness magazine or an action movie. Once they're satisfied, the design goes to the engineers who will make it into a reality, or at least try to without, cursing too much. Step 2, materials, gathering the goods. Now that the design's approved, it's time to gather materials. Skechers are made from a smorgasbord of components, including fabric, foam, rubber, and sometimes a sprinkle of marketing magic. Wait. Why do some Skechers soles feel like walking on marshmallows while others are, say rock solid? Turns out there's a fascinating science behind it. Stay tuned. So the upper part of a Skecher, the bit that hugs your foot, is typically made of breathable mesh fabric. Factories source this from textile manufacturers who specialize in fabric so soft it feels like clouds but tough enough to survive a mud puddle. The fabric arrives in giant rolls. Imagine a burrito, but instead of a tortilla, it's breathable mesh. These rolls are unspooled and cut into precise shapes using industrial laser cutters. Yeah, these lasers are so accurate they could shave a mosquito's mustache. The fabric is then reinforced with synthetic overlays for extra durability because nobody wants a shoe that falls apart after one jog to the fridge. Next up is the foam, the part of the shoe that makes you feel like you're walking on marshmallows. Skechers uses EVA foam, ethylene vinyl acetate. For the nerds, for the midsoles. This foam starts as solid pellets that look like tiny Tic Tacs. These pellets are heated, expanded, and molded into the springy soles we know and love. The foam is also infused with proprietary tech like Gogamat, which kind of sounds like a yoga class for your feet. What's in it? Well, the factory says it's a secret, but we're betting it's a mix of sorcery and science. Finally, the outsoles are made from high-traction rubber. Factories use a vulcanization process that involves heating the rubber and adding sulfur to make it durable and slip-resistant. This process isn't just about durability, it's also about flexibility. The heated rubber is poured into molds shaped like outsoles, and then the sulfur is added to cross-link the rubber molecules. Think of it like knitting a sweater, but instead of yarn, it's rubber molecules holding your hands in perfect harmony. The result? Well, a sole that's flexible enough to bend with your foot, but strong enough to handle whatever the pavement throws at it. Oh, and it smells awful during this process, like a tire fire mixed with a garlic festival. Basically, they're making the rubber tougher than your grandma's Thanksgiving turkey. Step 3, cutting and assembling. Puzzle pieces come together. Once all the materials are prepped, the real fun begins. Cutting, stitching, and assembling. Think of this step as putting together a Lego set, but instead of Legos, it's a million tiny pieces of fabric foam and rubber that all need to fit perfectly. The fabric is cut into specific shapes for each part of the shoe: the toe box, the sides, the heel. Machines handle this with laser-guided precision, making sure each piece is identical. Humans? Well, they oversee the process to make sure the machines don't suddenly decide to go rogue and start cutting out shapes for hats instead of shoes. Here comes the stitching. This is where the upper part of the shoe is sewn together. Imagine a bunch of tiny fabric jigsaw pieces being zipped together by industrial sewing machines. These machines operate at lightning speed, turning raw materials into something that actually looks like a shoe. But wait, there's more. Some Skechers have decorative stitching or logos that require embroidery. This is done by robots because, well, let's be honest, no human has the patience to stitch 50,000 tiny S logos every day. Step 4. Attaching the midsole and outsole, the big sandwich. Once the upper is ready, it's time to attach it to the midsole and outsole. This process involves heat, glue, and enough pressure to rival a sumo wrestler sitting on your shoe. Factories use industrial strength adhesives to bond the midsole to the upper, but not just any glue. This is space-age adhesive that's probably strong enough to hold your life together. It's designed to withstand extreme temperatures, moisture, and even the occasional puddle jumping adventure. The glue is applied with machines that look like high-tech squirt guns, ensuring an even layer across the entire sole. Too much glue? Well, you've got a sticky mess. Too little? Well, then you got a shoe that falls apart faster than your New Year's resolution. It's a delicate balance, perfected by engineers who probably dreamed of working for NASA, but ended up, bonding sneakers instead. This glue is so strong that once it sets, those parts are inseparable, kind of like you in your bed on a Monday morning. Next, the shoe parts are pressed together using hydraulic machines. These machines apply just the right amount of pressure to fuse everything without turning your shoe into a pancake. The result? Well, a seamless bond that feels like a hug for your feet. Step 5. Quality control. The shoe gets judged. Do you know how many different hands and machines touch a single pair of Skechers before it lands in your closet? Well, let's do the math, shall we? Before the Skechers leave the factory, they must pass rigorous quality checks. This involves a team of trained inspectors who check everything. Is the stitching straight? Is the logo properly aligned? Does the shoe squeak when you walk? And let's talk about these tests in detail. The shoes are bent, stretched, twisted, and stomped on by machines that mimic real-life use. One test, charmingly named the flex test, involves bending the shoe thousands of times to simulate months of walking. Another, the impact test, drops a weighted hammer on the shoe to see how well it absorbs shock. Basically, these tests ensure your Skechers won't betray you during your jog or, an impromptu dance-off at a wedding. Any shoes that fail get sent back for repairs or recycled into future shoes. Yeah, even Skechers believe in second chances. But what really happens to the Skechers that don't pass quality control? They don't just disappear into some shoe graveyard. Oh no, these rejected shoes are shredded down and transformed into something unexpected. Playground surfaces and running tracks. So the shoes you never got to wear might be supporting your neighborhood park. Now that's giving sole a whole new purpose. Step 6. Packaging. Ready to ship. The final step is packaging. Each pair of Skechers is stuffed with tissue paper, slipped into a shoebox, and then placed into larger boxes for shipping. The shoe boxes are designed to withstand everything from rough handling to curious cats sitting on them. But the inspection doesn't stop at durability. The factory workers also check for aesthetics. Are the colors vibrant? Are there any glue smudges? Does the shoe scream, "I'm ready to conquer the world"? Only the best looking pairs make it to the packaging station. Any shoes with minor cosmetic issues are either fixed or sold as factory seconds, because even shoes deserve a second chance to shine. And just like that, your Skechers are ready to hit the shelves and, your feet. Now that you're exhausted after an intense workout session wearing your Skechers, it's time to get those muscles some protein. And what could be tastier and more efficient than a protein bar in that scenario? Let's head head on to our next section. Ever wondered how those delicious little bricks of nutrition we call protein bars are made? You know, the ones that somehow taste like cardboard and a candy bar had a nutritious baby. Well, today we're stepping into the mystical world of protein bar factories. Grab your hard hats because things are about to get sticky. Literally. Also, don't forget to like this video if you've ever eaten a protein bar without questioning its mysterious origin. Subscribe if you're about to learn something you can brag about at your next gym session, and share this with a friend who thinks protein bars are just fancy candy. All right, let's unwrap this mystery, shall we? Step 1, recipe development. The brainstorming session. It all begins in a lab. Not your average mad scientist lab, but close enough. Picture food scientists in lab coats surrounded by blenders, protein powders, and what looks like a sprinkle explosion. This is where the magic, or madness, if you will, happens. The first step is deciding the flavor. Will it be chocolate peanut butter, cookie dough, or that one mystery flavor that tastes suspiciously like regret? Once the flavor is chosen, the scientists get to work on the formula. The goal? Well, to cram as much protein as humanly possible into something that vaguely resembles food. But it's not all about protein. The bar also needs to have the right mix of carbs, fats, and sweeteners. And let's not forget fiber, because apparently nothing screams health like gastrointestinal support. To make it taste somewhat edible, they add natural sweeteners like honey, stevia, or agave syrup, or just straight up sugar if they're feeling bold. The recipe is tested again and again. Too crumbly, back to the drawing board. Too chewy, add more moisture. Too tasty, dial it back. This is a protein bar, not a dessert. Once the perfect balance of flavor, texture, and nutrition is achieved, it's time to head to the factory. Did you know that some protein bar flavors go through over 50 iterations before they make it to store shelves? Well, that's because balancing taste and nutrition is like trying to fit an elephant into a smart car. It takes some serious science. For instance, if a bar has chocolate chips, they need to calculate the melting point to make sure it doesn't turn into a gooey mess during shipping. And let's not forget protein itself. Depending on the source, whey, soy, pea, or even cricket, the texture and flavor can change drastically. Step 2, ingredients sourcing, the global scavenger hunt. The ingredients don't magically appear at the factory door. No, they're sourced from all over the world. The protein might come from whey in New Zealand, pea protein from Canada, or soy from the US. The chocolate chips? Belgian, if they're feeling fancy. And the nuts? California almonds or peanuts, unless there's a budget crunch, in which case any old nut will do. Factories receive these ingredients in bulk. Think massive sacks of protein powder, barrels of syrups, and truckloads of oats. If you've ever wanted to swim in a pool of peanut butter, this is where dreams come true. Before anything gets used, the ingredients are inspected for quality. No one wants a rogue almond ruining the batch. Step 3, mixing, the giant protein smoothie. Now that the ingredients are ready, it's time to mix them. And when I say mix, I don't mean your grandma's hand mixer. We're talking industrial grade mixers that look like they could power a small spaceship. First, the dry ingredients like protein powder, oats, and cocoa are dumped into the mixer. These mixers are so big, you could probably nap in them if OSHA wasn't watching. Then come the wet ingredients: honey, syrup, nut, butter, or whatever gooey goodness the recipe calls for. These are poured in with the grace of Niagara Falls. The mixing process is crucial. Too little mixing and you get clumps of sadness. Too much mixing and you end up with a paste that even a spoon can't save. The goal is to achieve a consistency that's thick, sticky, and ready to be molded. Kind of like, edible Play-Doh. Yeah. Step 4, shaping, from blob to bar. Once the mixture is ready, it's sent through a series of machines that shape it into bars. This is where things get weirdly satisfying. Imagine a conveyor belt spitting out long, continuous ropes of protein bar dough. It's like watching a pasta machine, except instead of spaghetti, you're getting a healthy snack. These protein ropes are cut into precise bar-sized portions by a guillotine-like blade that's faster than your morning alarm. The bars then pass through a rolling machine that smooths out any rough edges. No one wants, a jagged protein bar. Unless it's doubling as a survival tool, I guess. For bars with coatings like chocolate or yogurt, the naked bars are sent on a wild ride through a waterfall of melted goodness. The coating is applied evenly as the bars glide through a chocolate river that would make Willy Wonka jealous. Then they're cooled in a refrigerated tunnel to set the coating. Step 5. Add-ons. The pimp my bar phase. Now comes the fun part, decorating. Depending on the flavor, the bars might get sprinkled with crushed nuts, drizzled with extra chocolate, or dusted with protein powder as if there wasn't enough already. These toppings aren't just for looks, they add texture and extra flavor. For bars with inclusions like chocolate chips or dried fruit, they're mixed into the dough earlier. And no, they don't just toss them in randomly. These factories use advanced machines that can evenly distribute every chocolate chip. You'll never get a bar with 50 chips on one end and none on the other, unless it's homemade. Factories use vibrating hoppers to feed these ingredients at a consistent rate, ensuring every bar has the perfect amount. Want sprinkles? Well, those go through a color scanner to make sure there aren't any dull or broken ones. Even the drizzle on top of the bar is applied using robotic arms that work with millisecond precision. It's like a synchronized dance of dessert decoration. Step 6. Baking or chilling, the final countdown. How do they keep protein bars from turning into a sticky, melted mess on a hot day? It's all thanks to a process that involves temperatures colder than your freezer. Some protein bars are baked, while others are chilled, depending on the recipe. Baking is done in massive ovens that can fit thousands of bars at a time. These ovens operate at carefully controlled temperatures to ensure the bars are cooked evenly. Too hot and you get protein bricks. Too cold and you're left with a chewy mess. Chilled bars, on the other hand, are sent through industrial freezers. These freezers are so cold, they make the Arctic feel like a sauna, telling ya. The bars are cooled until they're firm enough to hold their shape, but still soft enough to chew. It's a delicate balance that requires precision and a lot of machinery. Industrial ovens used for baking protein bars are often multi-deck conveyor ovens, which means the bars travel through different temperature zones to bake evenly. The entire baking process can take anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes, depending on the recipe. Chilled bars, on the other hand, are sent through a blast freezer that operates at temperatures as low as minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit to lock in freshness and prevent sticky exteriors. Step 7. Quality control, the bar bouncers. Before the bars are packed, they go through rigorous quality control checks. And when I say rigorous, I mean it. Each batch is tested for taste, texture, and appearance. Random samples are even pulled off the line and sent to the lab for nutritional testing. There's also a visual inspection. Workers scan the conveyor belts like hawks, looking for any imperfections. A bar that's too short? Rejected. A bar with a smudge of misplaced chocolate? Outta here. These rejects are either reprocessed or sent to the employee break room. Lucky them. Step 8. Packaging, the suit and tie for protein bars. Finally, the bars are ready to be dressed up in their shiny wrappers. The packaging machines are like gift wrapping ninjas, folding and sealing each bar in milliseconds. These wrappers are designed to be airtight, keeping the bars fresh for months or years, depending on how long they sit in your, gym bag. The wrapped bars are then boxed and labeled for shipping. Each box is stacked on pallets, wrapped in plastic, and loaded onto trucks. It's a protein bar's final journey before landing on a store shelf near you. And there you have it, the epic journey of how protein bars are made. From a pile of powder to a perfectly wrapped snack. It's a process that's equal parts science, art, and a little bit of chaos. Next time you bite into a protein bar, take a moment to appreciate the thousands of steps, machines, and chocolate rivers that made it possible. And if you enjoyed this sticky sweet adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Now, go grab a protein bar and flex on your friends with all this newfound knowledge. You've earned it. Also, don't forget to check out our other videos like how are New Balance shoes made in the factory? See you there.